This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
For over 16 years, EJD Construction.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, baby. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard. Good afternoon, since we crossed the noon mark, although it might be early in the morning, it might be in the afternoon, it might be in the evening for you. It all depends on when you're watching or listening to the program. But welcome aboard. Although it looks like I'm frozen there. Is that just like mine or something? Or what? What is that? That's weird. Okay, there we go. Oh, it must be the internet connection's kind of a little slow or something. That's probably what it is. or something. Anyway, welcome aboard. And guess what? You don't even have to pay a tariff to watch this show. You know, that's pretty good, right? I mean, that's not a bad deal. Huh? Well, I don't know if internationally.
If they're not in the U.S., because don't we have some Canadian viewers?
We have no problem with our Canadian friends.
No, we don't.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Our show has no tariffs. We trade with all.
Yes.
We love all. And so, you know, this is good. At least you know no tariffs here. That's all. You know, it's all voluntary here. Join us if you want, support if you want. Hit that like button if you want, donate if you want, visit our amazing sponsors like Toyota of Hollywood. They got the Wabbits here since Easter is right around the corner. It's Candyland, exactly. So we got the Candyland thing, and we've got, and by the way, the Prius. Again, it's just, these Priuses are badasses. They're really, really nice. If I wasn't on my whole, I got to adjust to the earth, you know, because the world we live in, the earth, there's a lot of rain and floods and stuff. So I'm getting an SUV. I've been a car guy all my life, but I'm done with that. My next vehicle, which will be in 2026, it will be a SUV. So I can't get the Prius, although I would easily consider a Prius car. If I was getting a car, I would easily consider these new Priuses. Damn, they are nice. They are nice. But the Tundras are badass, bro. Holy shit, the Tundras.
There's the TRD 4x4 down there, the white one. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking
every time I walk by it, I'm like,
now I'm thinking, you know, truck. So, you know, and good thing is the Zinn family has a couple of dealerships that provide a nice selection of trucks. So I'm trying to compare now. That's where I kind of find myself now, trying to compare them. But there's no doubt it'll be an SUV, my next vehicle. No doubt. Just to battle the elements a little better. That's the reason why I'm going to do it. But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Damn. What else do we have going on? Let's see what we got here. NorCal, I see. Beartooth, Riptide, getting the day going while we await. Thank you, NorCal. Lenny Pena in the house. Heat Nation. Yeah, big game today, dude. I see Jonathan Cago. I see Jamie Zorriad in San Jose, reminding everybody to smash that like button. There you go. NorCal says, I'm going to see Las Vegas A's of Sacramento play ball today. As much as I hate to support them, it'll be great to see my brother and his kids. There you go. There you go. Business of sports sucks, man. You know, but it's one of those things where reality hits certain markets, and reality hit the market of Oakland, and they are not big enough to support pro sports. They don't even have enough people to answer their 9/11 lines, for Christ's sake. You know, they and I know that they have these visions of making the place bigger and better and all that, but they're nowhere near that. And so sports teams need to be in cities that have big corporations that are tied to it, that it has a large population that might be even growing, which I doubt the Oakland area is growing. I probably is going the other way, because all you hear about is businesses and everything leaving. And so it sucks for the fans, but they have to live with the reality that the city that they live in fiscally is not made for pro sports. That's just the way it goes. You know, you watch a place like Salt Lake, they're growing and getting more sports because their economy and their infrastructure economically is going in a completely different direction than Oakland. You know, they're now a tech hub, which nobody ever looked at Salt Lake as a tech hub. You only looked at them as what? Skiing, vacation. That's it. No. Not anymore. Now people are moving there to live there. They got a growing metropolis. And so economically, they've been going the other way. So they are adding sports teams. Oakland's losing sports teams because fiscally, they cannot support it. They cannot sustain it. They don't have the corporate dollars. And what are you going to do? Milk the Bay Area from the other side? Well, no, that belongs to the other side. And so San Francisco teams will get the support from that side there. Oakland's not going to get that. So that's why they're going to lose every team that they've had, pretty much. And it sucks for the fans, but this is what happens when you're tied to a town that fiscally is just not there. And listen, let me tell you something. And where I defend the A's fans, I understand other teams moving that had legitimate owners. The A's don't have a legitimate owner. He's a millionaire playing a billionaire's game. So he's also going to go there to Vegas, and he's going to try to make sure he can bring in all the money because he has no flow himself. So he doesn't belong in the A's owner doesn't belong in baseball, just like Jeffrey Loria didn't belong in baseball. As I've said many times, if you're a millionaire, you're not big enough to own a pro sports team. You must be a billionaire. There's got to be a B in front of your name, not an M. If you're a millionaire, hey, it's great. You and I will never get there. Most of us will never get there. But billionaires, the ones that can play that game. The people that laugh when they write those checks. Oh, I've got to float $45 million into an escrow account. That's nothing. It's nothing. And that's what you need. And that's the problem. That's where I would defend the A's fans, that they have shitty ownership. And I know what that's like because we had the Viner group running the Panthers, and God bless them. Their heart were in the right place. They were good dudes, but they didn't have the money. Loria is a bad person who also didn't have the money, and yet you made him a billionaire. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? Like the city of Miami handed the guy to become a billionaire. It's crazy, right? I mean, you think about that. That's just insanity. Anyway, so I know what it's like. I had Horowitz as the owner for the Fusion, and he was terrible, cheap, So I know what it's like to have bad owners, and that's where I defend you, NorCal. But what I won't defend is the situation that the city of Oakland is in. The reality is they're a minor league city. They don't deserve to have major league clubs. They're not that kind of city. And I know you have an affinity because you used to live there and lived there for very long, but San Fran's the place. Oakland's the redheaded stepchild, and they've gone by the wayside like other cities that have lost pro teams. It's just they're not major league in any way, shape, or form. Brian Radke, good morning to you, sir. Gus 1388, Think Blue Dodgers, One-Eyed Jack. I'm loving the dips too. Although, just a little Bitcoin talk for you. As you've seen, it's held. What is it at 77 right now? Pretty much. It's just hovering right around that area between 75 and 80. And right now, 77,392. As I've told you before, the volatility is fantastic to take advantage and dollar cost average and lower your average on certain things, especially in altcoins. But remember, the game we're playing right now is very, very, very sketchy when it comes to altcoins, because we don't know what all of this stuff is going to end up happening. We can all have our opinions and say, oh, this tariff stuff ain't going to work, or it may work, or whatever, or we're going to go through hell, and we're headed for a recession, and we're headed for real problems, or whatever, all that stuff. We don't know. None of us really know, okay? The people that are like economists and all that, they think we're headed for real problems, right? Okay. If that does happen and we're headed for real problems, okay, that's when Bitcoin is going to explode even more. Now, the rest, altcoins and stocks, will be a bloodbath. So be prepared for that. So be prepared for your portfolio in altcoins to go down big. Obviously, if this ends up working and it turns around, everything pumps. But no matter what, and I'll read you something why. I'll give you an example why Bitcoin is going to soar. This is Van Eck. They just released this on the de-dollarization that's going on of the U.S. dollar. That interest is no longer theoretical. China and Russia have reportedly begun settling some energy transactions in Bitcoin and other digital transactions. Bolivia has announced plans to import electricity using crypto. And French energy utility EDF is exploring whether it can mine Bitcoin with surplus electricity currently exported to Germany. These are early stages that Bitcoin is evolving from a speculative asset into a functional monetary tool, particularly in economies looking to bypass the dollar and reduce exposure to U.S.-led financial systems. This has never been done before. China's selling their debt, their U.S. debt, which is not good for us. So, in all currencies, the yuan, the dollar, the ruble, the whatever it is, okay, the peso, whatever, every currency is dying. So that will give more life to Bitcoin because Bitcoin is not controlled by any government. And governments know they can't control Bitcoin. I mean, freaking Putin came out like 2 months ago and said Bitcoin is unstoppable. And they get it. So either way, when the shit really hits the fan, people will go to Bitcoin to stash their money because their money's going to die everywhere else. So they'd rather go there and it'll go. Okay, think about everything we've had. Wars, pandemics, all of that. And we're sitting here in the 75, 80,000 range. It is relentless. It will not be stopped. And we can argue about it when it was at 16, and we can argue about it when it was at 36, and at 66, and at 86, and at 106. And you know what? This is only the beginning. It's only going to continue to soar. I am not a financial advisor by any stretch whatsoever, okay? But the one asset in the world, okay, that will just go up no matter what will be Bitcoin. And the game isn't about, oh, buy the dip or anything like that. The game is get as much as you can whenever you can. So if you buy it at 106 or 96 or 86 or 76 or 66 or 56, it does not matter. What matters is get as many slices of the pie you can, because when it's at 1 million or 2 or 3 million, who gives a shit if you got it at 56 or 76? What pissing contest are we winning at that point? Does not matter, because you ended up buying little pieces all throughout, at least for those of us that are working stiffs. The idea is just to collect as much as you can. Because when it's 500,000 and 700,000 and 1 million and 1.5 million and 2 million, those slivers are going to be so tiny, it's not worth buying unless you're rich. So now you're going to, when it gets there, you're going to regret that you had all this time to buy it under 100,000 and you continue to just overlook it. That's all I got to say. So stagflation, hyperinflation, inflation, recession, or explosive and positive economy, all power Bitcoin. Every single one. There's only one direction it's going in. You'll have your volatility, but it'll be a volatility as it goes up. That's all. If you get caught in the day-to-day, the week-to-week, the month-to-month, you're screwed. If you sit back and let go for a couple of years, you'll go, wow. Because every 4 years, the stages become bigger and bigger and bigger, and just got to let it go. That's all. Not worry about the day-to-day. Just collect whenever you can. That's all. That's the game. the game is to try to collect as much as you can. So I know where this is going. Everybody, and especially our country, we have empowered the dollar as a weapon against anybody that doesn't want to do whatever we want them to do or think like we do or whatever. And they want to get away from that. You know, that's just kind of the way it goes. So protect yourselves. That's all I got to say. Not a financial advisor. Do your own homework, do your own thinking, and figure it out. Now we go back to sports. Jeff in Long Island is in. Jay Slim taking advantage of the dips, he says. Casey Mad Pup. Tyreek have Big O in a headlock. I don't know what that means. But Tyreek, unfortunately, it is what it is. Sweet Baby Ray, what's happening? Sneak Attack. Enjoying the dips also. Alexis Palenzuela, Skylar Tipton, Brian Landis, Ray Sosa. Yes, nice bounce back win for the Panthers. No, they're resting a bunch of people, dude. I'm not worried. I'll be worried if they lose in the playoffs, they start losing, or if people aren't healthy for the playoffs, which is, I think, what they're doing. And they played a pretty good team yesterday. It wasn't like they played a shitty team yesterday. And it's the team you're going to face in the playoffs probably. Right? I think they're listed as facing Toronto right now in the first round. So I'm not worried about it either way. It was like I saw on Twitter, are the Panthers trying to avoid the Lightning? And I'm like, dude, have you watched what's gone on between the Panthers and the Lightning the last 2 years? I don't think the Panthers are worried about the Lightning anymore.
Toronto's leading the division.
Right. But
with 98 points.
But look at the whole conference standing thing. I think I think that's how it is. We got them in the first round. Is that how it is?
I got to look at the seeding. They don't have the seedings on this one.
Just take conference, and then at least do the ESPN one, and then do conference, and maybe that'll give it to you. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked at it in a week. Ray Sosa in. What's up, my brother? Josh. Say hi to Alexa for me. Cosa Nostra, A-Rod. I don't get Inter Miami. Why would they play Messi a full 90 minutes? And plus, when they've got to get a CONCACAF game in 3 days. Dude, he was the only one that scored.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play, Lisa Rose in, Raging in. It's like the Rochester Buffalo area just checked in. Lisa and Raging, like right there, back to back. It's funny. You guys planned it out or something? Anyway, so good stuff as always. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. It is very important that you smash that like button and get it going. Don't forget also you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum, Solana, and Chainlink donations now, because on Venmo, you can make Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Chainlink donations. We accept all of those because I'm a maxi for all of those. What you got for me? What you got?
It looks like there's 8 teams that make it, correct?
Right. 1 versus 8.
Yeah. So right now they would play Tampa Bay.
Oh, Tampa, nice.
It'd be 4 versus 5. They're 5, and Tampa Bay is 96 points. But the difference between 3, 4, and 5 are 2 points.
Okay, so it could be this. It's kind of jumbled up.
Yeah, because I guess with the win yesterday, we jumped Ottawa, which we would have had Toronto.
Oh, we had
Toronto's number 2.
That's what I thought.
So,
okay,
but now we're up in the 5 now. So
okay,
right now it would be 4 or 5.
It's all jumbled up. Maybe I'm losing my stuff. I'm jumbled up. Maybe I'm losing my stuff. All right. Anyway, little Echo and the Bunnymen for you guys out there. What do we have here? 77,596 now. Bitcoin trying to make a move. By the way, it was at 75,000 at 11 p.m. last night. And since then, it's gone up to $2,600 since then. So it's kind of been like on a upswing. Don't know if it means anything. Could go back down to 75, whatever, dude. I'm not worried. You want to go down to the 72 area? You want to go to 69? I'm buying. That's all I know. Like I said, it's about he or she who stacks is the one that wins. That's it. That's all. Stack as much as you can. You know, for us working stiffs, we're not going to get rich from this. We're not going to retire from this, but we could pay a couple bills. We could live a little better life. We could treat ourselves to a couple vacations, maybe a car, maybe your kid's college fund, whatever, you know, something could come out of it. You know what I'm saying? But stack as much as you can. That's what I would say. All right. What do we got? We got the Heat tonight. And I would call this a character test for the Miami Heat, believe it or not. Look, we've got one of our favorite words on this show is compartmentalize. Okay? All right, so let's separate church and state here. We're not talking about championship teams. We're not talking about, we're expecting a title and going to the Eastern Conference Finals and they're going to hang another band. Let's just put all that away. That's what Pat Riley and company and Mickey Arison and Spo, they're all about in the big picture. They want to be a championship franchise. That's what they've been 3 times and been there several times, right? Okay, that's not what this year's about. This year was a completely different year. It was whacked out because of the whole Jimmy Butler thing, and he completely ruined the season. But here's where I say this is a character test, and I love this. So collectively, what has this group ever accomplished? What have they? Nothing. Bam and Tyler on their own have never made the playoffs. They've never accomplished shit in the playoffs on their own. Any playoff success that they've had, they've been the co-pilots, the role players in those situations. Hell, Tyler hasn't even been around sometimes for some of those things because he's injured. And then collectively, all of these guys together haven't accomplished anything. They've never won anything. They've never proven anything. This is pretty cool. Again, don't put the weight of the world on these young guys. They don't deserve it. Plus, there's no expectations for it. But there is some expectations. All right, young guys, you think you belong? You've done a nice job here lately. You've been winning more than losing after that losing streak. All right. Well, finish this strong. Here's a team that right now is at your level. You guys are literally battling for the same play-in spot at 9. He who wins tonight has the inside track at finishing at 9. Is there an outside chance you can climb to 8? Yes, there is. Okay, will it happen? Who knows? Who cares? Whatever. Okay, but the bottom line is, tonight, you got a chance to prove that, no. Hey, without a lead dog, we can take care of this. We're better than the Chicago Bulls. So Bam and Tyler can actually start to accomplish something because they have nothing on their resume as leaders. 0. Nothing. Okay? What happened over the last few years is given more to Jimmy Butler and to Eric Spoelstra than to Bam or Tyler. But now they are SOL. I'm not talking about Solana. I'm talking about shit out of luck, which is a good thing. Now there are no stars. There's no lead dog to bail them out. This is on them. Tonight is on their legacy. You know what I equal this to? Hey, Ryan Tannehill, all you got to do, dude, is beat either Buffalo or the Jets at the end of the year. Just one of them, and we're in the playoffs. And the guy played like dog shit in those 2 games. And we lost both games to inferior teams. At that time, Buffalo and the Jets. I could say we're inferior teams, but again, divisional shit doesn't matter. That wasn't the Buffalo team that we've been dealing with now. That was a very beatable Buffalo team, very beatable Jets team, and you lost. We're not asking you to go out and win the Super Bowl, dude. We're asking you to beat the Bills and the Jets, who are shitty, mediocre teams. And all you got to do is win one of the two. We're not even asking you to beat both. So tonight is the same thing. Dude, we're not asking you to win a championship. But since you guys are in the stage where you got to prove yourself, and Bam and Tyler, you got to prove yourself as leaders and all that kind of stuff. And lately, dare I say, Bam and Tyler have had leadership-like moments in this stretch here. Okay? I got to admit that there's been some leadership-type moments there. Not enough consistency for me to, go say, oh, you're a star and you're ready to go and all that. But let's give some love when love is due. So tonight is a nice little character test for them. Of course, we as fans want the Heat to be better and prove more and go for an Eastern Conference title and get to the. I get that, dude, but we're not there. That's not realist. That's not reality right now. Let's live in reality. I like to be on this show in reality, not in the hypotheticals and the stupid shit and all that kind of stuff. I don't talk about that. I like to live in reality. The reality is, guys, you need to prove yourselves, right? Here we are. And then if you can pass this test and you could get out of the play-in like I've been talking about and be the 8th seed to take on the Cavs, you have now accomplished something because you went from play-in into the playoffs. And then that'll be awesome. So if you want to end it on a high, you need to win tonight. And then the next stage is, I don't know where you're at, 10, 9, 8, but you better get out of that play-in. Do whatever it takes. Be the 8th seed when it's all said and done. If you want respect, if you want us to believe you can trend in the right direction, if the front office wants to believe in their own people, well, you need to do these kind of things. But if you fold tonight and you lose this game, and if you cannot get out of the play-in, and all you end up doing is playing just one game or two and you're out or whatever, then we're all going to look at it and say, yeah, these are just wannabes because getting to the play-in is really not impressive. What's going to be impressive for you is getting into the playoffs and putting a respectable performance against the Cavaliers. Not win, just a respectable performance. That's it. So show me your character tonight, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. Show me your character. Highsmith, whoever, Davion, you name it, Anderson, whoever it is, Hillel Larson, Khalil Ware, show me your character tonight. And I love that it's a road game too. I mean, beautiful. I'm glad they're not home. I'm glad they're on the road. I'm glad it becomes even harder for them. And by the way, Chicago rested people last night. So they're fresh. They know what they know they need this game. I love it. I love it. I cannot wait to watch this game tonight to see where these young guys are at. Be super cool. Let's see. What else do we have? Danielle Guzman says, on a work trip in Florida Panhandle. No hot dogs. Enjoying this beautiful weather and some Big O show in the office. Nice. Okay, so you're in the Panhandle. Stay away from Dairy Queen hot dogs. Okay, I love you, Daniel Guzman. I certainly don't want any of you to suffer the way I have. So, well, most of you are not as stupid as I am. Seriously. Come on. Where was I thinking that was a good idea?
You got a 5-hour trip to go. Let's have a Dairy Queen hot dog. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? God. So, Mr. Guzman, no Dairy Queen hot dogs. None. Nada. Nay. Okay. Aquavision, hello to you. Chris Johnson, hello to you. True Fin fan in the house. This team is coming together. What will they be? Who knows? But it's obvious to see that Butler gone was a huge plus. Spo doing what he does is working. Yep, exactly. Daniel says nothing but fresh seafood for me. There you go. That's the. You're the smart guy. I'm the dumbass. That's all I got to say, Daniel. You're the smart guy. I'm the dumbass. So, what can I tell you? By the way, we are out here at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7, right on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. Come on out, baby. Herbie Lopez, by the way, is the man in charge. Come on out here and say hi to Herbie, of course. And we got all kinds of great deals going on. Got this beautiful Prius right next to me. You can see a 4Runner. You can see the RAV4, the Tundras. I mean, all kinds of great vehicles out here at Toyota of Hollywood. Floors and floors and floors of vehicles. So if you're looking for a Corolla like my daughter was about a year and a half ago, I think it was, we took her, I don't know, what was it, 3rd, 4th, 5th floor, whatever it was. It's like 8 or 9 floors in this thing. There's 2,000 cars here. Over 1,200 new cars. And so she went to look at the Corollas, and there was like 70 of them. Is that cool? Is that way you know what it looks like in red or in maroon or in blue or in marine or in gray or in white or in yellow or in pink or in whatever colors they have? So you can kind of, okay, this is a model I like, but wait a minute. Wow, I've never seen this green. This is really cool. It's a metallic, like, oh, I like this. I'm going to take this. So you just never know. You know what I mean? And that's what you're going to love. So if you're looking for that Camry or the hybrid or whatever, it's nice to have a selection. It's nice to get service. And that's what you get here at Toyota of Hollywood. The place is enormous. We got restaurants. So if you come out here to get your car serviced, get the oil changed, tires rotated, whatever it is, and you got to wait, you got a lounge out there or out here, air conditioned. You got TVs everywhere. You got a couple of restaurants to pick from. So you can relax, bring your laptop, your iPad, work whatever you need to do while you're waiting for your car. You're going to love it, man. The SR5 4-wheel drive right now, the Tacoma double cab, you can get it for $439 a month, the 2024 model. Come on out here. You can get 2.75% financing for 4 full years, 0 down. We've got no payments for 90 days. So check it out here at Toyota of Hollywood. And please tell them that Big O sent you. Okay? It's a matter if you go to Caneswear. All right? If you call Welton Rayom, or if you go to any of our other places that are part of the Zinn family, like Subaru of Pembroke Pines, or, of course, Acura of Pembroke Pines, always make sure you tell them that Big O sent you, man. It's very, very important. And thank you. All right, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. The amazing Alan Blanco. If your company, corporation, school, you need custom printing and embroidery or uniforms, call 3A Graphics and Alan Blanco. This is the owner's personal cell number. You can do all of that by phone and Zoom and all that. That's what everybody does it anyways. 786-618-1443. Custom printing and embroidery. Panthers over the Leafs. 3-1, Forsling, hell of a go for Hagee and Listerine. I know it's not, but I like to call them Listerine. They're all with goals last night. Bob had 17 saves. I was kind of surprised they played Bob. Thought they'd be resting him too. Play the V-man. All right? I don't know. No?
I don't know, man. I'm a little the V-man is a little
I know he didn't play well the last couple outings. I know.
Bad taste in my mouth with him when he plays. Man.
I know, but I need to take care of Bob
because he does the thing that Bob used to do.
Yeah.
2 great periods, and he has one wherever it is, different times. I think one was the second That one time we were up, 2-0, and then we lost 4-2, and gave 4 goals in the final. I'm like, oh.
All right. Well, Thursday, tomorrow, they take on the Red Wings, and that'll be at 7 o'clock. Tonight at the United Center is the game. The Heat are favored by 1.5 against the Bulls. The over and under is 227. Tip off 8 o'clock, United Center. Miami, by the way, minus 125 on the money line. The Bulls plus 105. So Vegas likes the Heat here on the road. Interesting. They better get it done. Speaking of they better get it done, Inter Miami taking on LAFC. 8 o'clock, CONCACAF Champions Cup. We will have Michelle Kaufman in 20 minutes. She'll join us at the top of the hour. Inter Miami minus 175 on the money line. LAFC plus 450. The boys are home at Chase. Let's see if they can get it done there. And the Nuggets last night fired head coach Mike Malone and GM Calvin Booth. Just a couple of games before the playoffs. That is one wacky move, man. You win a championship and they fire your ass 2 years later. You're the team's winningest coach and they fire your ass. That is just absolutely odd. Way to stick with somebody through thick and thin, or just thin. Anyway, that's your 3A Graphics sports calendar. So, Big O, what's your weekly schedule? Where will you be each day? Well, tomorrow we're at, like we always are, Hialeah Park. Thursdays, 3 o'clock. Friday, we're at Acura this week. This week we're at Acura. Next Wednesday, no. It's the Wednesday after, right? I think Subaru. Yeah, the 30th. Yes, it is. It's the last day of the month. It is. So next Wednesday, no. We have a Thursday and Friday appearance. No Friday appearance again next week. Just Hialeah Park next Thursday. Yeah. We'll be adding another new appearance in April. In May. May, we start with a new sponsor, and we will have a live appearance with that new sponsor. So looking forward to that. We're at Accurate. Oh, yeah, because all right, so the following week we're at Acura. Not next Friday, the Friday after. Right. So there you go. All right. So Hialeah, obviously every Thursday. And then not next week, but the week after that will be at Thursday and Friday at Hialeah and then at Acura. And then Wednesday the 30th, we're at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. So wrap up the month. So there you go. And I'm looking forward to our April one because it's something new, a little different than what we've normally done. And that's going to be cool also. So looking forward to that. And by the way, listen, if you're a corporation, your company wants to be a part of our platform, we could go broadcast at your business. So we expose your business every week or every month or bi-monthly, whatever it is, or quarterly or something like that. You can always reach out to our business line, 786-754-4664. Not a talk line. No one's going to call you back because you want to talk sports. But if you're willing to talk business and you want to be a sponsor of our platform, maybe you want to sponsor our pregame shows with the Dolphins or the Canes, pre or post, we love that also. So all kinds of stuff. So please reach out to our business line, 786-754-4664. As always, thank you out there. All right. What do we have here? Where's Bitcoin going up a little bit? Oh, 77,762, trying to make it to 78 now. We love that. Love that. All right. Oh, I don't mind seeing a little bit of a pump. All right, there's a little Yachty, there's a little Uzi, there's a little John. There's no little pump. There's no rapper named Little Pump out there. Help me out. Little Yachty, Little Uzi, Little John. What? There is a Little Pump, like Lil Pump, like LIL. Because if it's not LIL, it's not legit. Really, there is a Lil Pump. I had no idea.
Here we go.
Lil Pump.
Gazzy Garcia goes by a stage name Lil Pump.
Little Pump.
American rapper singer. He emerged in the late 2010s SoundCloud rap scene.
SoundCloud.
Yes.
Well,
SoundCloud
hey, listen, that's where Billie Eilish came out of.
Wow, he's from Miami, Florida.
I think also, God, what's the name of the rapper? Everybody likes him a lot, dude. He's really good. He's really likable, really smart. He came from SoundCloud too. What's the cat's name, man? I can see his face right now, and I'm just, damn it. I think he came from SoundCloud too, like Billie Eilish. So what else?
He's from Miami, Florida.
Lil Pump is from Miami, Florida.
Yep, he's 24 years old.
Wow.
Yep.
Wait a minute, but in
He
the
went to
2010s?
Charles W. Flanagan High School.
Flanagan's. So did they have the baby back ribs there? Baby back, baby back.
But I don't know. Flanagan is not not a Miami school.
No, that's a Fort Lauderdale school,
Yeah.
a Broward school. Yes.
It's from,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, so there he is. He rose to prominent SoundCloud rap scene in the late 2010s for his minimalist music.
Okay.
He has the album Little Pump 2, Boss. Hey, he's got a song with Kanye called I Love It.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something you want to, like.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just going off. I'm
Nowadays,
looking at little things that he did to see. if
Nowadays,
anything
you don't really want to mention that you're associated with Kanye in any way, shape, or form.
And he dropped out of high school as a freshman.
Yeah.
But he has a net worth. What do you think Little Pump's net worth is?
I know it's a hell of a lot more than mine. That's for sure. My working stiff ass. I bet he's worth. I'm gonna go $3 million.
$12 million.
God bless him, bro. God bless you, Little Pump.
He quit music in 2010.
Well, I would too.
He just went on IG, said, "I'm done doing music. I quit." That's all he said.
Well, if I had 12 million, I'd quit too.
It was a
would
song
be-
called Gucci Gang that ended up with 407 million
Downloads.
downloads, yeah.
Gucci Gang. Damn. Good for Little Pump. All right.
Oh,
so there is a Little
apparently,
Pump. Yes.
Little Pump was the one that Billie Eilish rejected his proposal.
Wow. SoundCloud, the SoundCloud crime?
Apparently, Billie Eilish rejects this rapper's proposal.
Wow. She's like underrated cute. Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
Because the way she dresses, she kind of hides it,
And he owes $2,000 in taxes to the IRS. Or sorry, $2 million in taxes.
Oh, $2 million. That's
2,000. 2,000's more our level, maybe.
It's all right. The people are in place now. They're not going to collect. They've got like 3 people left. So they won't even get to Little Pump. So Little Pump is safe right now. Anyway.
There you go. That's your Little Pump update for April 9th, 2025.
Didn't even know there was a Little Pump.
He technically quit music now, so really there's no more Little Pump.
No, but there at least was
there
a
was
Little
a
Pump.
Little Pump, yeah.
Little Pump does exist. So I gotta be impressed with that. And there is, what's that? Little Pump what?
Skylar Tipton says Little Pump is also a huge trumper.
Oh, he is? Well, there's a lot of Trumpers, dude. I mean, like, he's in office. You know what I'm saying? Majority of America wanted him in office. So there's got to be a lot of Trumpers now. A lot of people are happy right now that he's in office. Let's see. Pump is the grandson of Dump. There we go. Been entertaining us for well over half a century, a Pump and Dump. Little pump face looks like the mirror at a gas station bathroom. Oh, yeah? He's ugly? Okay. I'd rather listen to Fly Sneeze than anything of today's whacked ass rap. Oh, yeah. Little Pump, yeah. Yeah. Little Pump does look like ass. Yeah. Pump ass. Okay. All right. Well, Pump ass is there. All right. What are you going to do? By the way, I was thinking about this for you some of you Dolphin fans out there. Yesterday was Mark Clayton's birthday. And I don't think I talked about it yesterday on the show, but I did talk about it on social media. And I have realized this, that there is a bunch of you out there that you need to have a come to Jesus. Remember that a bunch of you out there, and some of you are on the chat board right now, admit it, you got caught in the hype in the second year of Tyreek, and you were comparing Tyreek and Waddle to Clayton and Duper, and some of you even saying they're better. So I just want you guys to know, besides, I called it then that you're morons. It's ridiculous when those guys did it much longer and they were better, period. End of story. They weren't dropping passes in key moments like these two guys do all the time. Anyway, for those of you that actually thought that Hill and Waddle were better, yesterday was Clayton's birthday. When you guys find Clayton and Duper out in the street somewhere or at a Dolphins event or something, you need to have a mea culpa. You need to come clean. You need to say, hey, Mark, I want you to know I apologize. I got caught up in the hype, and I was comparing Hill and Waddle to you guys. I apologize. That was stupid. So I think there's a lot of you that I don't want you to send them a DM. I don't want you to send them an email. I don't want you to write them a letter. I want you to find Mark Duper and Mark Clayton personally. Seek them out. And apologize to their face. Okay? Because it was shameful that some of you would be so dense to actually think. I had some moron today on Twitter. I love mute because you just get rid of these idiots. He's like, well, if those guys had Marino, they would be looking better too. I'm like, bro, drop balls have nothing to do with Marino and Tua. Okay? The quarterback has nothing to do with it. I didn't see Clayton and Duper dropping balls in key moments or running the wrong routes and forcing Marino to throw interceptions. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, and the guy that answered me, he never really watched Clayton and Duper play. Just to, elaborate a little bit more on Mark Clayton. In the air, Tyreek Hill has nothing on Mark Clayton. The fade patterns you want to throw with a midget receiver? If you're going to throw it with a midget receiver, you throw it with Mark Clayton. The guy that can jump through the roof, has hands like vice grips, has body control like he's a gymnast, and can actually squat like 500 pounds. His strength is Mark Clayton was a freak of nature and played way bigger than his height. And he wasn't tall, just like Tyreek. But he played much bigger than Tyreek ever has. Because you watch how the fade doesn't work with Tyreek, it would work with Mark Clayton. Just ask anybody that actually watched them play. So yesterday, the birthday reminded me of you idiots out there that were jumping the gun already, insulting the Marx brothers by having the balls to even dare to compare Hill and Waddle to the Marx Brothers. That's embarrassing. And it also shows your lack of knowledge. That's really the biggest part. The fact that you don't know what you're talking about, and you're talking about something you don't know anything about. Because anybody that truly watched Mark Clayton and Mark Duper during their careers here, you would never in your life compare Hill and Waddle to those guys. Never in your life would you compare them. So, a job for a lot of you out there over the next few years, if you ever run into Clayton and Duper at a Dolphins event, reach out to them. Offer a hand and say, I want to apologize. And they're going to look at you for what? Okay? Those two guys are in the Ring of Honor. Tyreek Hill will not be there. At no point in his life will he be in that Ring of Honor. Anyway, let's see what else. Oh, come on, man. I and many others admitted we were wrong about Hill. Us younger fans can only speak on what we've seen. Yeah, but then you can't make you can't make an intelligent comparison if you did not watch the other guys. You just can't. It just the problem with it, Skylar, and that's why I was pissed when it happened, is it comes from pure ignorance. There's no actual facts behind it, because those of us that are old enough that we watched Duper and Clayton's careers, because I watched their entire career as a Dolphin, and we were watching Waddle and Hill. Dude, there's no comparison. There's just no comparison. Especially when we're talking about Clayton. Okay? Clayton took it to another. Clayton was the second best receiver in the NFL in his heyday to Jerry Rice. I'm telling you, Skylar, you had to have been there and watched it to know. And Mark Clayton can play in any era and can dominate in any era. The guy was a freak of a player, dude, and an athlete. I'm telling you. Tough, and played big for a short receiver, like big, because the guy could dunk with no problem. I'm telling you. Mark Clayton could probably tomahawk dunk. Okay? He's a bad, bad man. And unlike Tyreek, Clayton didn't run the wrong route or ever have a football wrestled from him. No, I know. It's just, you know. Skylar goes, oh, next time I would plead the fifth. No, it's cool, Skylar. But I'm just telling you, like, I wouldn't do certain things that I don't like. I can't tell you about Jim Brown. I didn't watch Jim Brown. So I have to go by the person that watched Jim Brown and watched Zonka and watched Peyton and watched Emmett. And, you know, I watched all those other guys, but I didn't watch Jim Brown. So I always will defer there and say, well, I didn't watch Jim Brown, so I don't know. And a couple of highlights is not going to tell me exactly what Jim Brown is. But when I listen to somebody tell me about Jim Brown and what he was, then it just enlightens me. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to ever say, no, Walter Payton is better than Jim Brown. That's stupid on my part. You know, there are just some people you just don't do that because they are so special. You got to defer to people that actually watched it. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. And I just think that, you know, the whole Hill and Waddle thing, people got crazy when, like, okay, these guys have only done it for 2 years. There hasn't been any, like, real big moments that you can brag about. And yet when I watch Clayton and Duper, come on, man. You know. These guys were amazing. What else do we have? Oscar Rojas is smashing it. Thank you, sir. One-Eyed Jack says, I became a Finns fan watching Marino, Duper, and Clayton. Tua, Hill, Waddle aren't even close. Clayton would have Hill carrying his pads off the field. Horn Dog says, best era of hip-hop was in the 90s, hands down. It's very few that I listened to during that era because 95% of it is complete hot garbage. Yeah, I'm 80s and 90s. I mean, I'm not going to leave out my 80s rap, but yeah, 90s rap is freaking amazing. So, yeah. If Tyreek drops Tua's passes, what do you think he'd do with Marino middle? Oh my God. Tyreek dropping Marino's passes? Oh my God. As often as he does, and Waddle? It'd be pretty bad, Sean.
Yeah, but I also think Marino's passes would probably stick into Tyreek's chest where he wouldn't be able to drop them.
I don't know, bro.
Marino would fire that ball.
Yeah, but you better have good hands.
Well, yeah, but if you don't have the hand, you're not gonna. I mean,
it's gonna bounce off your pads, bro.
Well, they'll just be what you know.
In fact, he got in trouble in one of them this year because he tried to basket catch it.
Because his wrist.
Because of the wrist. And he was having trouble for a couple weeks.
You're not basket catching any of Marino's passes.
And you're not right. It's not a smart thing. You need to put your fingers on that. You need to grip it because it's coming at a spiral and at a 1,000 miles an hour at your ass. So,
And after he dropped a couple passes from Marino, he would be exactly what he is. Just the running routes to get everybody over and leave anybody else open. That's Marino ain't throwing the ball to you anymore.
I would love to just be in the box when he's dropping the passes from Tua. I would love to hear Marino sitting there next to the owner or Tom Garfinkel or whatever, and Hill and Waddle are dropping passes. Oh my God, that must be hilarious.
He's going not one, not two.
Yeah, no.
Three.
But he must be
I'm sure he's throwing.
Oh, he's mother effing in that room. Nobody will tell you, but I bet anything that Marino is mother effing in that box when those guys drop the ball. Oh, if they did that to me, I could just see Marino just.
I wonder what conversation he's had with Tua too.
Like, just like, what? I could just see Marino so pissed. And then taking off the helmet on the sidelines and steam coming from his hair. Some of you just did not watch that man play. The fury that would come from Marino in those moments would be priceless, bro. Okay? Priceless. Julian Hill could not live in the same freaking county as Marino. Do you understand this? Do you understand this? Julian Hill could not be anywhere near the facility if Marino was there.
Oh, I got a serious question for you. Who right now in the Dolphins receiver room would be safe if Marino was the quarterback?
Jonnu Smith.
Okay. I wasn't thinking that. Okay. All right.
Jonnu Smith.
Because when I was running through, I'm like, none of them really have.
Jonnu Smith. It's the only guy. Jonnu Smith. The only guy on that team right now. Marino would be pulling his hair out. And, oh, by the way, you're going to take that long to get a play into Marino? Oh, shit, that's funny. Oh, my God, that's funny.
They'd be going to the line with McDaniel still calling the play, and Marino's like, let's go.
McDaniel's like looking at his thing, and they're already lined up and running the play.
Keep calling the coach.
Like, looks up, and it's like.
Marino would have fun with them. Run it again. Say it again, coach. One more time.
Yeah. It's like he's calling the play. Marino's already taking a snap, and he's looking up. It's like, and Marino's already throwing like a 47-yard strike or something. And then McDaniel's like, well, I guess that worked. Marino would not wait. Like, Tua's too nice. I mean, I lived Marino. I even got the pleasure of covering it was painful, but I got to cover his last few years. And no, Mike McDaniel, oh my God, Marino would eat that man alive. Are you kidding me? It's 3 years the guy can't get a play in on time. Do you think Marino would actually ever even tolerate that for 3 weeks? Not 3 years, 3 weeks. In the first month of the first season, Marino would be done with that guy. Marino didn't run the plays that Shula called. Let me explain that again to you. Marino did not run the plays at times that Shula called. What do you think he's going to do to Mike McDaniel would be a welcome mat to Marino. It would just be footprints all over his face. He would not be able to tolerate Mike McDaniel's incompetence. Like you people that are witnessing what's going on now in football with the Dolphins, you have no idea, because we lived an era where it's like the Heat. It's like the Panthers. There's discipline. There's a direction. There's respect, unless you have Jimmy Butler. But like all that stuff. There's structure. That doesn't exist with the Dolphins under Mike McDaniel. There's no discipline. There's no structure. They can't get a play in on time, and the receivers can't hang on to the ball. And anybody that watched Don Shula and Dan Marino knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like, most of you never thought about that, right? When I said Julian Hill, and now you started laughing your asses off. And then I told you about Mike McDaniel with Marino. I mean, think about those things. Think about Julian Hill and Marino, and think about Mike McDaniel not being able to get a play in with Marino. You youngins, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You older people, you're laughing your asses off. Because Marino would not tolerate that for 1 second. Can you imagine us asking Marino? Here's another one. I can't imagine me asking Marino constantly about his coach not being able to get a play in on time. Holy shit, dude. I just want you to marinate on that. Just sit down on something so easy, so like in need philosophically of any team in the world that plays NFL football. Get the fucking play in on time. The man 3 years in still can't get a play in on time. I can't imagine Marino tolerating that. I can't imagine me having to ask Marino, hey, Dan, third quarter, it looked like you were waiting for the play and the coach still struggling. And, this is 3 years in. What's going on? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yes, sir.
No, I was thinking this, but then A-Rod put it in the comments. Imagine somebody quitting with Marino around.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Or Marino looks up on third down and there's no Waddle or Hill on the field.
Right. They just walked off the field. Like
timeout.
Timeout. And he'd go grab both those guys and drag. Oh, my God. That 3rd and 16 against Green Bay where Waddle and Tyreek just walked off the field. And you people want to compare them to Clayton and Duper, oh my God. Clayton and Duper want to be on the field on 3rd and 16. They're both fighting each other in the goddamn huddle, demanding the ball on 3rd and 16. Not walking off the field, I got to get a breather. A breather. Shula will tell you, bro, the breather is when the game is done, asshole. The breather is tomorrow that you have the day off. You don't get a breather in the game. Apparently, Tyreek is not a well-conditioned athlete, by the way. You can tell me he's well-conditioned, but anybody that needs to take I don't remember receivers taking breaks. Like Jerry Rice, no, I got to take a break. What is that, bro? What are you talking about? Your break is when they're on defense. Your break is when there's a timeout. Your break is when there's special teams. Your break is when halftime. You got breaks. All right, let's do it. Hour number 2. We started off with the one and only Michelle Kaufman. Inter Miami. Big game tonight against LAFC in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Let's get to it. Hour number 2 next.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hour number 2, the one and only Michelle Kaufman, kind enough to join us from the Miami Herald. And now we'll get to talk a little Inter-Miami football. Although I can ask Michelle this question. Michelle, before we get into football, I want to ask you this football scenario for you because you lived it just like I lived it. All right? So I want you to picture this scenario now. You see Hill and Waddle. They constantly, unfortunately, drop passes in key moments. You see Julian Hill, the tight end, he makes a mistake every single week. 3 years in, Mike McDaniel still struggles to get a play in. Now, I want you to put Marino in the position of Tua, and he has to play with a coach that can't get plays in on time for 3 straight years, receivers that don't hang on to balls in key moments, a tight end that never hangs on to the ball and is doing mistakes every single week. Oh, and by the way, on 3rd and 16 this year against Green Bay, Hill and Waddle decided to take a breather on their own. And the coach looked up, and there were 2 other receivers who were backups sitting there on 3rd and 16 in a very key moment. So receivers are also willing to take breaks whenever they want to take breaks. They can walk right off the field. Now I want you to put Marino in that situation. How would he handle all of that, Michelle, since you know?
Oh, different era entirely in sports. I'll leave it at that. I just think we can't.
Oh, but he would die. He would have a heart attack.
It makes us sound old and grumpy, and
I know.
It is what it is. Sports are what they are now. The athletes are what they are. They take breaks. They have load management. The college players spend 1 year at each school, and they go to 5 schools in 5 years. It's
But we look at the Panthers. There's discipline. There's structure. There's leadership. There's commitment there. And even the Heat, outside of the damn Butler thing, it's always been dedication, commitment, structure, all of that, discipline. I mean, it's all there for those teams like that. I'm just saying it's kind of funny that if you look at how dysfunctional kind of it is on the offense, that one guy would be driven crazy in today's world with that's whole scenario. is what I'm saying. He doesn't have that scenario with Andy Reid. If Marino goes there, he has all that structure. He has the people in place that know what the hell they're doing. It's just kind of weird here. That's all I'm saying. And since you lived it, think about Marino having a coach that can't get a play in on time for 3 straight years. Oh, my God. The play would be running already with Marino. He'd be thinking about it. All right, let's get to it. Big game tonight. And in a way, Michelle, you have spent a lot of money in the front office, obviously, and the ownership has done a fabulous job of spending money and bringing talent. But you got to start accomplishing things. You got to start winning some stuff. And today's game is big because if you lose here, it's like, man, you got to start showing something that you brought all these names together. You got to start producing because last year kind of left us with a sour taste because, damn, you lost against the worst team in the playoffs and you didn't even make a run to the MLS Cup or anything. So this game is big for the legacy of Messi in Inter Miami, that is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is on one hand, you say it's a long season. There's a lot of cups ahead. There's still the Club World Cup. There's the Leagues Cup. There's the MLS Cup. You know, this is one of 4 that they're going to try to win. But you're right. The only hardware, the hardware that they have is, the Leagues Cup from 2023, which that's kind of a made-up tournament that, MLS and Liga
nice
just started
cup.
the tournament.
A nice
little tournament, whatever, a little trophy, the first one in the trophy case. And then the Supporters Shield last year, which, we know having the best record all year long is a great achievement, but most people really just care about the trophy, not the Supporters Shield. So what really matters is the cup, the championship.
If you're the Panthers and you have the best record and you still get to the finals and lose, you can live with that. But if you have the best record and you lose in the first round to the worst team in your conference that got in the playoffs, that's the part that, if they got to the cup and lost last year, it would suck.
Yeah. They needed to make a deep run. You've got the most expensive roster in the entire league. You have arguably the best player of all time playing on your team with 3 of his Barcelona teammates. So there are 4 guys from the greatest Barcelona teams there on the field. And then the coach now, played also on that Barcelona team. So you've got the Barcelona influence of 4 players plus the coach. They brought in some good talent, from South America, mostly new players that are young and promising. Yannick Bright has proved to be a very bright decision to bring in Yannick Bright from the University of New Hampshire. He is one example of a college draft pick that has far exceeded expectations. They have the roster to be the best team in the league, and they should be the best team in the league. But the first game against LA, the LA defense, they did a very good job of just clogging the middle and not letting anyone get the ball who would then get the ball to Messi. So, and all it took was 1 goal, and that was it. And Miami got 0. And then and that's critical because now it's a complicated tournament, but basically it's aggregate scoring over 2 games. And if they end up tied, the tiebreaker is road goals, away goals. Well, Miami got 0 away goals. So if LA even gets 1 away goal in this game, that is the tiebreaker. So in other words, Miami has to win, by 2 goals, or if they win 1-0 and have the same score as the game last Wednesday, then they go into extra time, 15 and 15, 30-minute extra time, and then PKs, and then the winner advances to the semifinals. So they're in the quarterfinals right now. They were in the quarterfinals last year, and they lost to Monterrey, to the Mexican team. Now they're in the quarterfinals again, and they're playing against an LAFC team that, to be honest, is a middle of the pack team in the West. They just lost 1-0 to Houston, which was a winless team this past weekend. Now, one thing I did want to bring up, the LAFC coach, Steve Cherundolo, chose to rest 8 of the 11 starters. 8 of the 11 starters did not play in the league game over the weekend. He kind of sacrificed that to have them fresh for today. Javier Mascherano, everyone, including me, assumed that there would, that the big four would rest. Maybe Messi won't play at all. Not only did they play, but 3 out of the 4 played 95 minutes. And then Suarez played 70. So, he had a different approach. He said, hey, these guys are used to it. They're used to playing every 3 days. He wants them to stay in a rhythm. Didn't want them to have a whole week off, and they didn't want to. They wanted to play. So 2 very different approaches. LAFC left 8 guys on the bench, for the game in Houston. The Miami team chose to play everybody in this game against Toronto, which was the tie for the last place team. They ended up tying them 1-1. So they had 9 shots on goal, but only 1 went in out of 9 shots on goal, Miami. And Toronto had 3 shots on goal and 1 went in. So Miami, for all of their star power, which they have, the last 2 games has been a little bit of a speed bump. They were rolling along. Yeah. They won their first 9 games under Mascherano. They looked to be completely in cruise control. The last 2 games have been a little bit of a speed bump that they need to get out of, and they need to get out of it tonight. And it's going to be difficult because, like I said, it's not just win. They have to win by 2 goals.
I know.
They have to win by 2 goals.
Yeah. And what did you see in that second half? Because LAFC outplayed our boys in that second half. Like they clamped them down, dude. They controlled that second half. That was a frustrating game because they're a middle of the pack team, but they looked like they were much better structured on that night. Our guys didn't have. There wasn't a lot of chemistry that night. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, I think they really frustrated the delivers, the waiters, Messi's waiters, as I call them, which is Jordi Alba, Suarez, Busquets. The guys who deliver the ball to Messi were not getting the freedom. They were all surrounded. That LA did a great job of packing the midfield and making things very frustrating. And I think Toronto watched that and did the same thing. Pretty much tried to do the same defense this past game on Sunday. People are going to figure out ways. The key, you ask any coach, all the coaches in the pregame, they all say the same thing. The key, you're not going to stop Messi. Messi's the greatest. Messi's the GOAT. Messi's whatever. You're not going to stop him. The key is to stop the people who get the ball to Messi. So that is the key, is to stop Busquets. Now, by the way, another thing tonight, no Busquets.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Busquets is out with yellow card accumulation. Yeah. So they will not have Busquets on the field. It will be Yannick Bright and Fede Redondo pairing up, to try to be Sergio Busquets. They're going to try to channel Sergio Busquets, which I think Yannick Bright does have a similar mindset. Fede Redondo is a different type of player. Yeah. So the combination of them is supposed to, try to make up for the loss of Busi. But that is a big loss because not only is Busquets the guy who delivers a lot of the times the pass that leads to the pass. Sometimes it's not the pass to Messi, but it's the pass to somebody who then gives it to
hockey
Messi.
pass. The hockey pass, as we like to call it, the hockey pass.
Yeah, he sees it 2 plays ahead. So they're going to be missing that. But also, he really is like an assistant coach. On the field. He really is. And he directs the players. They all talk about it, that it is like having an assistant coach on the field. He tells them where to go. He redirects them. If they're in the wrong place, he'll move them around and tell them, no, go over there, do this, do
He's
this.
also the lawyer. I call him the lawyer because whenever there's trouble or cards, he's the guy in between whatever our player that's in trouble and the referee, and he's stating the case.
Yeah, he's the mediator. Yeah, he's the mediator. Although he argues plenty himself, which is why he has yellow card accumulation. The reason he's not in this game is that he's been arguing quite a bit this year. Yeah. They've been arguing a lot. Actually, they lead the league. Inter Miami, I haven't checked after this last game, but leading into this game, they led MLS through 6 games. They had 18 yellow cards and 3 reds through 6 games, which was by far, they were leading the league in yellows and in reds. So, either
we used to do that. That was our thing back in the early days of it. We used to have a couple guys that used to pick up yellows like they were collectors.
Yes, we did. Well, there's still that tendency to argue calls. I think sometimes they feel that they get picked on or that everyone hates them because they're Messi's team. But they argue a lot, and they argue after the final whistle. A lot of these yellows, and even Rhett have been after the final whistle, which, you know what, when the game ends, guys, just go to the locker room and you're going to hurt your team in the end, which is what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. By the way, Calendar, what's the deal?
Calendar is going to be interesting. Yeah, we can finish up with Calendar. Mascherano, Mascherano has to make some big decisions now that he's finally, everything was rolling along. Things were going great. Now he's going to have some decisions that are going to be viewed and evaluated by fans. One is, the decision to play everybody on Sunday. So if they lose tonight, there will be questions like, oh, maybe they should have rested. If they win, then he looks fine and he looks, no one will complain. The other thing is who's going to start in goal now, because Drake Calendar, as you know, had a great run over the last 3 years. He made a lot of huge saves. He almost single-handedly won the Leagues Cup final, 2 years ago. But then he got injured during preseason while he was with the U.S. national team in early to mid-January. And he just came back really last week to active duty. He has been out. He had not played a game since November. Since that game against Atlanta, he didn't play November, December, January, February, and March. So we're talking about a very long stretch, almost 5 months without playing. He finally got back in. He started this last game against Toronto. It was his first start of the year. He's fully healthy now. He says he's fully healthy. The question now is, does Mascherano just bring him back and give him the starting job again? Or does he play Oscar Ustadi, who did do a good job in the absence of Drake? And by the way, Drake got his job initially because he filled in for Nick Marsman when he injured his back. And guess what? Nick Marsman never returned to the team. He lost his starting job and was gone.
Hold on. Nick Marsman.
I know Nick Marsman's old and Drake is young.
And never played like Drake did for that long of a time. And see, here's the part that pisses me off. The new coach, he didn't earn the playing time and didn't do it in front of the new coach. So the new coach is not giving him the benefit of the doubt after he's paid his dues here. And so I would definitely put him right back. But the new coach is, hey, I started off really well with the other guy. Let me stay with the hot hand at the moment or something like that. I feel bad for Drake because he doesn't deserve to lose his job.
Yeah, he's going to have – it almost feels like he's auditioning again to earn his job back, and it was his job. Yeah. It was his job. He was injured. He shouldn't lose the job out of injury. And, you never know also how much is into play that Ustadi happens to be a friend of Lionel Messi. He's a 38-year-old Argentine who's a personal friend of Lionel Messi. He knows Mascherano. He knows all, there are either 10 or 11 Argentine players now on the team. And one of them is this goalkeeper. And so he maybe has a chemistry with those other Argentinians in the back and this and that. So there may be other things at play. But I do think Drake, as a co-captain of the team, he's a co-captain with Messi, as the co-captain of the team, as someone who saved their butt so many times in the last few years, he deserves a chance to come back and then lose it if you don't play well. Right. But he deserves a chance to get his position back.
I agree. All right. Do they win tonight? Is that the prediction?
I am gonna predict that they win tonight. They have to. They really have to, and they have the guns to do it. They have the players to do it, and they can score 2 goals more than LAFC. I believe they have to do it. But they're going to be home. They'll be home. The weather's going to be hot. It's a must-win situation. I think that they will win, or they will win maybe 1-0 and then go into extra time and win in extra time. But I do think they will win. And I think they will advance. We will see.
All right. Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports. Catch her work there at the Miami Herald. She just put out a new Inter Miami podcast. I retweeted it. It's on my timeline there. So check it out. She does great work as always, covering the Canes and, of course, covering Inter Miami. Michelle, as always, thank you. Have a fantastic day and enjoy the game tonight.
Thank you. Same. Enjoy. Thanks for having me.
You got it. The great Michelle Kaufman. Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports. And we are out here at Toyota of Hollywood. And my friends, Welt and Rayom, they're right down the street. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom are right down the street. So if you're dealing with bankruptcy issues, homeowner property damage, maybe some storm, maybe some kind of an accident, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, please call my friends Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayum. Explain your situation. The consultation's free. So you just got to explain what's going on. They'll tell you got a case, or maybe you don't have a case, whatever it is. Call them so you can find out. 954-966-4646. Maybe you live in a condo and your neighbor had a busted pipe and the water ended up damaging your side and you got to go after some people. Welton Rayum can take care of you, folks. And remember, the new laws by our governor don't favor us. They favor the corporations, the insurance companies. So the most important thing you do is hire the right lawyers. Call Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayum. You're going to love them. 954-966-4646. Lewis says Marino was drafted 41 years ago. Maybe we get lucky this year. Riley Leonard time. I'm all for criticizing Tyreek, but not Waddle. Last year was one down year, and injuries played a part in that. He's still a dog, is hungry. I'm not giving up on him, but Waddle does drop too many passes, and it's not 1 year. It's been last couple of years. Hell, he lost a game all by himself 2 years ago. All by himself. He had 2 key drops that completely changed the game all by himself. One of the losses went all on him. I think it was the Bengals game. I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he drops too many passes, Skyler. Not that I'm giving up on him. I'm just telling you, he drops too many passes. Ray says it was a fluke of a cup run. Inter couldn't even make it back to the League's Cup final. Lenny Payne, it's going to be a long year for our Finns. I know I sound like a broken record, but I can't shake the feeling of our season is contingent on Tua's health. He plays smart. We have a shot at the playoffs. Yeah. If he plays smart. Hopefully he doesn't think he can take on tacklers and shit. Ocala says, my thought is we need to draft an insurance QB in case Tua continues to act like an idiot. I don't blame you. Yeah. Probably need to do that. Question is, who's available and at what spot? So do we take my Syracuse boy in the 3rd or 4th rounds? Maybe he goes in the 2nd. Who knows? Or do you, at 13, do you take a Jackson Dart? I don't think the Shedeur Sanders thing happens. And then do you keep him or do you use it as a trade? Because that's what I've talked about more as a trade. You're talking about keeping a guy. The problem is that the Dolphins can't afford to keep a guy like that because they've got so many holes on their team right now. They've got to fill as many as they can with the draft. They got to hope they can fill as many as they can with the draft because it's also unfair to expect all your draft picks to be impactful. Some of them might take time to be impactful. Might take them 2, 3, 4 years. Maybe 2 or 3 out of your draft class is impactful right this year. If you get 4 or 5, oh my God, you've done an amazing job, but you're asking a lot. That's why I told you this is why it's hard for me to get excited about this season because this Dolphin team will not be better than last year's team when it's all said and done. So that means Mike McDaniel has to be a much better coach than he's ever been. That's where I don't think that will ever happen. You need a great, great coach now to overcome some of the stuff you won't have. You took all your shots, dude. You took all your swings. You took all your swings. You paid Tua, you paid Tyreek, you paid Waddle, you paid Jalen Ramsey, you paid Jackson, you paid Chubb. I'm sorry, dude. You just can't keep paying people, and then all of a sudden you're not going to have the cap space. So now you've paid your people, you've made your shot. You can't go out there and keep doing that. So this is a year where you can't spend too much. Next year, if they survive, the next year you'll see them spend on a couple of free agents. Things will open up for them, but you have to take a couple of off years. You just have to do the responsible thing. You have no choice. They cannot keep mortgaging. Oh, let me guarantee $20 million to his contract. You can't because he's injury prone. And you could get out of it in 2 years. I know some of you don't think that. You think you could trade him now or get rid of him. Just like the whole Tyreek thing. Oh, let's do it now. It's like, you idiots. It's like they can't get rid of him. They're stuck with him for this year. Next year, if there's changes, then they'll get rid of him. Changes or not, he's gone after this year. But they're stuck with him this year. So they have blown their load, as they say. And this team is not going to be nearly as good as last year's team. So that means Mike McDaniel will have to be 3 times the coach he's ever been. You think that's possible? Seriously. If you do, I got a bridge and the keys to sell you. I love the Dolphin fan that wants to lie to themselves. No, this is the year that McDaniel's going to figure it out. No, this is our year. We're going to go to the playoffs. We're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I get it if we get excited prior to all this stuff, but now we've watched it after the fact. There's nothing about Mike McDaniel that tells you that he's going to take it to several levels up. So, Benito, that's an old, tired subject of taking the play calling away. Listen, bro, if you want to go check out the shows that like to talk about hypotheticals, that's fine. Nobody's taking the play calling away. That's already done and gone. They're not trading Tyreek. They're not cutting Tua. They're not trading Tua. And they're not taking the play calling from him. These are things that are already etched in stone. Okay? So all of you need to move on. Okay? Ross is not selling the team. Chris Greer is not retiring, going upstairs. Remember that one? That was a real doozy. The guy just signed a new contract. Yeah, he's just going to shit on his contract and say, no, don't pay me all that guaranteed money. No, I'm going to go upstairs and retire. Stupid shit. So let's just get over all that. Mike McDaniel insulted everybody in that building, said, I know I'm the best man for the job. So he basically told his offensive coordinator, his quarterback's coach, you guys are stuck there because I ain't doing anything. I'm not leaving. Okay? It's like, what's the name of that show that I watched for like 8 episodes with the detective that is Cordelia Cup, that the woman was willing, she was ready to take over the White House as the lead of all the people that serve and take care of everybody in the White House. And then the guy tells her, I'm not leaving. The residents, that's it. Residents. That's it. So when the dude what's the name of the actor? Anyway, he tells her, I can't leave the house this way and that in the elevator. And she's like, oh shit, I'm not becoming the lead, That's basically what Mike McDaniel did. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving this post. I'm calling the plays. So you're stuck as a quarterback's coach. You're stuck, Frank Smith, as an offensive coordinator. You guys aren't good enough. I'm better than you. If you have to call it, then we're done. Because I'm the best in the building to do this. So, Benito, stop repeating and typing silly shit. And any of you out there also, trade Tyreek, cut Tua, trade Tua. Nothing's going to happen. Those things have been etched in stone already. We've told you for a long time Tua was going nowhere. We told you for a long time there'll be no Tyreek trade. We told you when they said Greer would retire. No, he's not. But hey, Jonathan Jones from CBS, you go ahead and say that, there's some talk that Greer's going to retire. No, he's not. Okay? So let's stay in reality. That's what we do here on this show. This show is about reality. What's really going on? Let's see. Wow, Dow is up 2,120. Did it really? No. What did they say? What have I missed? It is 2,312 points, 2,253 right now. S&P's up 340. The NASDAQ is up 4.5. Wow. What the hell did he say? Did China cave in? What the hell happened? Something was said. That is nice. I mean, it might be a fake. Oh, Bitcoin is up to 81,420. 81,420. You know what to do. It's 420. 81,420. That baby's pumping. What happened in the news? What happened?
I'm just reading headlines.
What happened?
Dow surges 2,000 points. NASDAQ jumps 8% after Trump signals a 90-day pause on some tariffs.
So that's like a fake pump. So don't buy now. Now you hold off from buying.
Again, I am reading headlines, so I'm just going off of what that's.
Yeah. So if he does that, then it's just on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. I just buy dips. That's all. Now I don't buy anymore. Now I'll just wait for the next, stupid headline and then something else. But is it China tariffs that he's pausing?
No, he did on most, but none on China.
Yeah, you got to go after China. You have to go after China. So I get it. I get that part.
But Trump also said he's raising tariffs on China.
Yeah.
So
yeah. They send 5-1. So they're trying to, you know what he should have done? You know what I would have done? Right when I take over, I first go to Mexico, secretly, not publicly, do all that bullshit and try to embarrass people. Go cut my deal with them, hammer everything out, then go cut my deal with Canada, hammer everything out. The Canadians are so nice. Get everything done, all under the public's eye, all that. Get all my partners in line with me. Then go to Europe and settle that shit. And then you go after China. Like when Biden took over and he shut down the oil pipe and all that, dumbass, you open it up even more now. Now that now that Europe's not going to buy the oil from them, you become Europe's seller. And you want your little stupid green highway? You could have powered it with the oil. But no, he went the other way and screwed us all. So in this, I think he kind of screwed himself too. To me, again, I don't care about either side, guys. Okay? Either side. I don't care. Learn and understand that. But if I would have been Trump, I would have first gone with my allies, bring them all together, and then I go after China. Because what you're doing is you're now opening the door for Canada to call China to get some stuff that they can't get from U.S. or they don't want to deal with the tariffs or something. And then China, to screw the U.S., will work with Canada. You don't want that. They're already working with Mexico. You don't want them to become more friendly with Mexico. I would have partnered up with my allies first and then go after China. Like, whatever, dude. It is what it is. What can I tell you? I don't like any of our presidents. They all a bunch of screw-ups. Yes, sir.
So he's actually lowered tariffs on dozens of countries, but hiked China's to 125%.
Oh, so it went from 104 to 125. Yeah. Okay. I totally get it. I just wish you would have gone first to our allies and just they're your allies, dude. Why are we fighting with Canada, bro? How do you fight with Canadians? Come on, man. It just doesn't make sense. That's all. Anyway, let's just hope it works, bro. We're Americans, right? We need it to work. So just keep stacking that Bitcoin. That's all I got to tell you. Big O, will you have Kyle Krabs on again this year? I will now start getting a bunch of people over the next couple of weeks to talk some draft and do that. But I'm not going to be doing it for months leading up, and that's silliness. It's just let's get the people right up until the week. It's just, I'm just not doing the stuff that I used to do and go get a whole bunch of guests all the time and just talk about the same shit over and over again. I'm just not doing that, man. Sorry. So now that we're approaching the draft, now I'll get a bunch of draft people all over, and I'll spoil you guys with a bunch of draft talk leading up to the draft. So we'll get it all done. I promise you. But what's the draft, 20-something? We're still a couple of weeks away, dude. So, yeah, go ahead.
You see what Budweiser did for Ovechkin? Well, not for Ovechkin, but
for the whole record thing?
Kind of off of the record thing. So they, he scored his goal against the Islanders, Ilya Sorokin. That was the first time he scored against that goalie. So Budweiser went out and made the cans called Budweiser 0 of 895. And they sent them to all the goalies who did not give Ovechkin a goal that he's taking shots against.
Woo!
Do you know how many goalies that was?
How many?
28. Now, again, some of them are,
obscure.
Nobody has more than 20 shots against them.
Okay.
And our boy V is the one that has 19.
Wow.
Vanchek has 19, and Stolarz is on there as well. And they got the can, and the can has their number with the hockey, and it says Budweiser 0 of 895. It has how many shots they took against him and how many goals, of course, which was 0.
That is awesome.
And the can says nothing got past you, and it's got their number inside the hockey thing. So
I would imagine, since Ovechkin is still going to play, if any of those guys run into Ovechkin that night, they're going to go, I feel kind of sick, coach. I can't play tonight. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to ruin your can.
I got to mail the can back if I.
Yeah, bro. You can't ruin the can. So if any of those guys are playing Ovechkin over the next year or two, because Ovechkin, I think, is still going to play for another year or two easily. He looks like the Energizer Bunny. Those guys, all of a sudden, they're just, they're not going to feel good. They're going to get a little sicky.
And those 28 goalies have faced 199 shots.
How about that?
From Ovechkin.
That's pretty
cool. And haven't gave up any.
That is very cool. Very cool. Let's see what else. Sounds like a blind-ass fan alert if people think McDaniel's going to be better coming. Yeah, I know. It's just, it makes zero sense, Steven. I'm with you. It's just, that's why it's hard for me to get excited about the season because of McDaniel more than anything. Yep. Pat in Asheville, Trump lowered some tariffs, not on China. Oh, yes. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate you. I knew something had to have happened for it to go to 2,000 points. That's fantastic. Feel good for the people with 401ks, man. I'm out of the stock market, so it doesn't really affect me one way or the other. I'm all in Bitcoin. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I know that most of what we get has come from China. That's why this gamble is very interesting. So we'll see. Big O, did you watch Arsenal's Championship League match yesterday? Yes, I watch Arsenal and Barcelona, sir, all the time. I watch both my my clubs and my third club, which is Inter tonight. Those are my 3 clubs. So when Barcelona, Arsenal, or Inter play, I try to watch and enjoy. Stephen Harris, Big O, not trying to be funny, but I trust Tom Brady filling my car tires than Trump. Listen, bro, Bush Jr., Obama, Trump, Biden, I don't trust any of them, dude. So for me, I can pick apart all of their runs and all the things that they've done, and they printed 30 of our $37 trillion debt. And so we got one of those 4 back, and we'll see how much he prints. So, whatever, man. It is what it is, and what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? What you do is, if you want to sell your home right now, you call my guy Osmani Garcia at Omega Realty Group. And right now, he is guaranteeing to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games, none of that stuff. I know Osmani, he's very serious. Great dude, exceptional human being, folks. And this is real. So if you're serious and you're here in the state of Florida, anywhere in the state of Florida, and you're serious about selling, call my guy Osmani Garcia, 305-440-1990. See if your home qualifies. Call him. He delivers results. And I'm telling Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guarantee, where guarantees are backed by action. So call now. Don't wait. The market won't wait for you. So call Osmani Garcia right now, 305-440-1990, and sell your home in 30 days or less. And tell him that Big O sent you. Trust me, he is really, really good people. All right. Inter Miami needs to win tonight. Lionel Messi is the greatest player of all time. He's considered the greatest player on earth. But I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't give a shit what he did with Barcelona or PSG or Argentina. I don't have a skin in that game. My game is Inter Miami. I'm an Inter Miami fan. And Messi and company pulled off one of the biggest choke jobs in the history of mankind last year, losing to Atlanta in the first round of the MLS Cup. So tonight, you got CONCACAF action. And again, you haven't won shit in an Inter uniform. League's Cup is nothing. League's Cup is nice, but it's nothing. You got to start accomplishing something. And if I'm the ownership group, by the way, you see how the ownership group says, "Oh no, we're so ahead that we're going to be able to play in 26." You know why that is? Because they know that that's the last year they'll have of Messi. And if they don't take advantage of that last year there so they can bring in a bunch of money, it's going to be bad. And if they don't win the MLS Cup this year or the CONCACAF Champions Cup, then what have you accomplished outside of spending a lot of money and a lot of hype? Sure, it's been fun, but it's about winning. And last year, you didn't even win enough. So you won the trophy for the best record in the league. What did you do in the playoffs, dude? Did it mean anything? No. Nothing, dude. That trophy means nothing when you lose in the first round to the worst team in the playoffs. So tonight is about starting to accomplish some damn thing. His legacy is set, right? Worldwide. But you're here in Miami now. You're here in the MLS. And you're in the league that everybody makes fun of around the world. You're in the league that a lot of people here in this country make fun of because they watch Serie A and they watch the Premiership and they watch the Bundesliga and they, you know, their shit don't stink compared to the MLS. And yet, Messi couldn't do shit in the MLS last year. So, it's interesting. You got to start winning something. Your legacy will be fine outside of the borders of the United States, but at least here in South Florida, you know, this is where you're making a living now. I'm just saying. You'll hear, hey, great career, but damn, I wish you would have done something here with us. That's what you're going to hear if you live here in South Florida. Oh, yeah, you were fantastic in Barcelona. I just wish you would have done something with Inter Miami. I'm just saying. Tonight is big for them. For their legacy, it's even bigger for the ownership group because they're the ones that spent the money to bring those guys here. And they were expecting to win. You had the best record in the league. And you didn't do, and you were an embarrassment last year. And by the way, you have become one of the biggest embarrassments in the history of South Florida sports. So, Messi and the boys, You better get it done tonight. Yes, sir.
And to pile on top of something that you've already said many times, they don't have anybody in the pipeline either. When you said they're trying to get it done because Messi is leaving, they don't have anybody to take over when the Big Four leave. Who's drawing people to go watch Inter Miami play? Because as you said, they haven't built anything throughout the community.
Right.
So it's going to be a beautiful stadium, but how full will it be?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Now they do have rights to a big time player. I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. He's in England. Here it is. They have the discovery rights, and I'm pulling up the article now. I reposted it yesterday on Twitter, or the day before, I think it was. It's a little slow. I'm trying to bring it up. But Inter Miami holds the discovery rights for Manchester City legend Kevin De Bruyne. Sources tell ESPN's Lizzie DiBenchero. Inter Miami would have the first chance to negotiate with him if he decides to play in the MLS after Manchester City stint. He announced on Friday that he'll leave Manchester City at the end of the season when his contract expires on June 30th. The Belgian star, who's been with Manchester City since 2015, will leave the club as one of the greatest Premier League midfielders of all time. Midfielder. He won several trophies with the Premier Giants, including 6 league titles, 1 UEFA Champions League Cup. Inter Miami stole the headlines in recent years by signing Messi, Suarez, Busquets, and Alba. Inter Miami also scheduled to play 2025 World Cup Club, but De Bruyne wouldn't be eligible to play in the MLS until July 24th, when the league's secondary transfer window opens, according to the Athletic's Paul Tenorio. So, Inter Miami would need some flexibility potentially to add De Bruyne and stay within the MLS roster rules. With Messi, Busquets, and Alba, the club already has the roster maximum of 3 designated players. The designation allows the players to be paid beyond the league's salary cap. Per Tenorio, therefore, De Bruyne would have a hard cap on his 2025 salary in the league. MLS clubs can have up to 5 players on their discovery list at any given time. De Bruyne was also linked to San Diego FC last year, but the MLS expansion side reportedly isn't an option for him at this moment. So, will they add another star and would that be the guy that takes over for Messi? I don't know. So, we'll see. Okay.
I have a question for you. It's music related, by the way, too, but I don't know if it's anything good or not. But
all right, well,
because it has wrestling related to it as well.
We'll segue with that. All right. Go ahead.
Well, it just came up.
Good.
Slayer. Are you a Slayer fan?
Yeah, I like Slayer.
They're doing one concert in the U.S. September. Now it is September 20th, 2025 in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yes. They are headlining. It's going to be hosted by WWE superstar Damian Priest.
You know who loves Slayer? NorCal.
Really? Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not, I'll watch Slayer. Yeah. I've seen him in live. I'm not like but whatever. But he loves Slayer.
Oh.
And he actually is like hooked with Slayer too.
Well, then maybe he'll be there. But they have, they're going to be there with Knocked Loose, Suicidal Tendencies, Power Trip, Cavalera, and Exodus.
Okay, I've heard of a few of those. Okay, Power Trip, Exodus. And there was one more I know of, Suicidal Tendencies. I know those. Okay. All right. Well, speaking of music, let's go to...
they sent me a cease and desist order. Well, not me, but my tag team partner, because we were called Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we emailed them asking if it was okay for us to use it. And they said yes. Then we used it. And then we told them we're going to use their song.
Oh,
and then they sent it. No, we told them the first letter was, this is what we want to do. Okay, no problem. Then they responded back a week later, like, please. So we got to change it up.
Oh, that's funny. All right. They probably said, all right. And then the lawyer said, no, you can't do that. That sets a precedent. Then somebody else can do it. And then we have no rights to our own shit. No, you can't, you idiots. That's probably what happened. I'm just guessing from my experience on Earth. All right, let's go to birthdays. Since he started with music, let me go with musicians born on this date. Let's see if we can get it in before Ira Winderman calls us. Little Nas X was born on this date in 1999, born Montero Lamar Hill, now known as Little Nas X, born in 1999. Let's see what else. Celebrating birthdays today. Albert Hammond Jr., guitarist from The Strokes, born in 1980. Gerard Way, singer from My Chemical Romance, born in 1977. On this date, of course. Philip Wright from Paper Lace, from The Night That Chicago Died, born in 1948. And Billy, don't be a hero. Don't be a fool with your life. Let's see who else. David Chico Ryan, bassist with Sha Na Na. Let's see who else. That is it for musicians. Let's go with other famous people celebrating birthdays today. All right. Curly Lambeau was born on this date in 1898. Hugh Hefner. Man, I always wanted to go to a Playboy party. God, it's like my life isn't complete because I just didn't go to a Playboy party. Anyway, 1926, Carl Perkins, the Tennessee Three, baby, born in 1932. Peter Gammons, the great Peter Gammons, born in 1945, 79 today. Dennis Quaid, born in 54, he's 71. Seve Ballesteros, golfer, 57 today. Well, born in 1957, I'm sorry. Joe Scarborough is born in 63. Paulina Poroskova, the Rick Ocasek divorcee. She was born in 65, and she looks great, by the way, if you've seen her. Marc Jacobs, designer, born in 63. Who else is celebrating birthdays? Leighton Meester, actress, 39 today. Jesse McCartney, musician, at 38. Kristen Stewart is 35. And that is it. You got any wrestlers for me?
Bianca Belair. She is 36, the EST of the WWE. Those are your birthdays for April 9th, 2025.
All right. Do we have Ira there? Ira's there. All right, we'll get to the rest after Ira. But for now, let's start off hour number 3 with the little Miami Heat action and the one and only Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Is the man, the myth, the legend. He is on the road getting ready for the biggest game of the youngsters season. It is. It's a beautiful thing. Ira, I love this because this group has never accomplished anything. Bam and Tyler have never accomplished shit as leaders. This
as leaders. Okay.
As leaders, right? They've always been the second fiddle. They've been the complimentary guys. This has never been their team. So now this is their opportunity to say, hey, we can lead. And they've, by the way, let me give them a little love. Lately, they've been playing lead roles and kind of been filling the lead role deal. You know what I'm saying? So I give them a lot of love for leading. But if this group wants to get a little respect, you win this game. You get into the play-in, you get out of the play-in, become the 8th seed and play Cleveland. This is beautiful now. This is where it's an interesting dynamic. I talked about it yesterday. If you win and you could get out of the play-in and get into the playoffs and be the 8th seed, you as a Heat fan, you go into next season feeling good, like you can build on this. If you lose tonight or you fail in the play-in and you're just getting eliminated right away, you go into the offseason with a depressed type of feel because you're not feeling good about the young guys like you can build on them. So it's really interesting, and I'm excited about it because I think these young people can actually make their own stamp because this collective group has never done anything on their own.
No, and I agree. And sitting here in the bowels of United Center getting ready for tonight's game, look, we know they're going to finish with a losing record. That's locked in. That's unavoidable. So you move on to the next thing. I agree with that, Big O. Getting to the playoffs always matters, even though there were people about the lottery, but that ship has sailed because they're not bad enough to be bad enough. Going back to what you said at the top of this accurate Pembroke Pines report, I think is important. What Bam and Tyler have done this season to lead. Here's what matters. Bam Adebayo sat out Monday mostly for rest. They said back spasms. I spoke to him today. He wanted a day off. It was the Sixers. He will play 79 games this season unless he sits out meaningless games. Tyler Hero will play 78 games this season. Unlike a certain player who talked his way out of town this season, they have shown up to play every game. And even listening, longtime listener, first-time caller to the Orlando Alzagari show, you even spoke about Tyler Hero has to show it. He can't keep missing all these games. He can't miss 40 games like he missed last season. He has made that a priority no matter what to get his butt out there on the court. You know where leadership starts, Big O? It starts by showing up for work. And what Bam and Tyler did this year showed they are committed to the team. They are committed to their teammates. That is true leadership.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why, to me, I'm excited for them because this is their team. So this is a moment where they can actually, separate themselves here and say, no, dude, we got a terrible situation and we were put in a terrible situation and we found a way to make it a much better situation right now. And if you get out of this play-in and become a playoff team, to me, you got to compartmentalize. We know you're a championship organization. We know your aspirations are championship. So are the fans, and the media is expecting. That's fine, but that's not what this is all about. We know this is something about building for the future. Well, you got to build on a positive, and you guys got to make your own, your own mark. And I think tonight it starts by saying, yeah, man, you know what? We don't have Jimmy here. We don't have Wade here, but you know what? We're better than that, and we need to go prove it out there. And that's why I'm actually really looking forward to this game tonight. And by the way, Chicago rested everybody also.
Yeah, how about that? How about that? Yeah, it's like I wrote in the paper. The Sun Sentinel's like, wow, we have a showdown for 9th place. But you know what? When teams care and let games matter, it's a lot better than being in Washington or Philadelphia, or Charlotte, or Utah, or places where they play this shell game with fans. Oh, don't worry. All this losing is good for us. It's going to help. Well, you know what? We've seen the process in Philadelphia, and now we're seeing the process 2.0 in Philadelphia. And all the losing and all the lottery sometimes, like Charlotte, winds you up in the same place for a damn decade. So good for the Bulls for putting something into this game. Good for the Heat for putting something into it. All I ask from my teams is this, that they give a crap, that they care, that it means something. And Billy Donovan, by sitting his players last night in Cleveland, said tonight, while the rest of the world is watching another NBA game and the Lakers are taking on the Mavericks and all that, you can look at the Miami Heat, you can look at the Chicago Bulls, and you say, you know what? There's nothing wrong with teams actually caring. It'll be good theater.
And by the way, the season has been reset for all of us. Let's be honest. we now have a reason to watch because everybody shows up, everybody tries, everybody gives a shit. It was the whole year was, will he show up? Will he give a shit? Will he try? All that is done. It's actually fun to watch what's going on now. Even the other night when Bam's off and I'm watching Khalil Ware do his thing, amen to that. I'm having some fun. To me, I'm having a good time watching the Heat right now. I know what happened and all the other crap, but I have to separate church and state here and say, okay, yeah, we're done with all that now. They've turned the page. I've got to do the same thing as a fan. That's why tonight is everything, dude. It's fun.
And that's what sports is all about. Give me a game with meaning. That's right. All I ask. It's like watching the Panthers last night against Toronto and going for seeding and going for second place or third place or first place in their division. Meaningful games matter. And a team that doesn't tank makes all of their games meaningful. It has been years since the Heat has played a game without meaning because they chase it. Maybe stupidly they chase it. Maybe they try a little bit too hard where a lottery pick might have helped every now and then, but they're telling you that they're committed. You win tonight, you're short of at least one postseason game. Is it the postseason game you want most? No, but it's a starting point. Lose tonight, you might have one game left at Kaseya Center until next October. The season finale on Sunday, because you could start the play-in on the road, play in game number 2 on the road, and then you could be done. So yeah, have some fun with tonight. Accept it for what it is. Put everything else aside. Put the record aside. Put Jimmy Butler aside. Because I think, Big O, you would agree. If this Jimmy Butler thing was resolved last summer, as you wanted on our accurate Pembroke Pines report, if it was done earlier this season, there wouldn't have been a 10-game losing streak. There wouldn't be this bad of a losing record.
No. Not at all. It would have been a completely different scenario. So let me ask you something as we wrap it up here. Am I getting ridiculous on this one, or is there some reality to it? Reality or ridiculous? Okay. And be honest with me, it's cool. Okay. I can get that way sometimes. I'm a fan sometimes. If you're the Heat organization, you really need to end strong because one, you need to sell to your fan base that there's something to build on. 2, you need to sell to the NBA, hey, we got pieces here. You know what I mean? You need to sell to possible disgruntled star that might become available, older star, whatever, that, hey, I'm the missing piece. That's a pretty damn good group there. If I'm the star and I join them, we can get over the hump. But if you go out and lay an egg here tonight and lay an egg in the play-in and you don't look good and you look like you looked in that 10-game losing streak, then you go into the offseason, your fan base has got a bad taste, your front office has got a bad taste, possible free agents, possible trades, whatever could happen, whatever. It just doesn't look as sexy as it would if everything goes well. Am I being a little foolish or am I being a little
I think you might be a little overstated for this reason. Because let's step back for a second just about tonight's game in the play-in. Look at what the Heat have to offer a potential free agent or someone who wants to come here. They have a do-it-all defensive center who has shown he's a real, genuine leader on the Olympic level in Bam Adebayo. They have a scoring guard who showed he's also committed to more. Tyler Hero is more than Trae Young. Tyler Hero is more than LaMelo Ball. Tyler Hero is mature. Tyler Hero has grown up right in front of our very eyes. That's good.
I would go with that.
A shot-blocking backstop big man that every wing in the league wants to play with, because if someone gets by him, it takes me back to this. You remember this name, not a lot of other people do. Sasha Danilovic, when he used to play with the Miami Heat. Yeah. This is how he played defense. He'd line up against his man, and he'd say the same word 3 times. Zo, as in come here and block the shot because I'm about to get blown by anyone. Yeah. They really are set up. So you have 3 players you'd want to play with as a free agent. Yeah. You said this, and Big O, you're saying this for years. You have arguably the best coach in the NBA to play for.
Not even close.
You have this stability of an organization, whether you spell culture with a capital C or small c of somewhere. So, yes, I'd like to see the
not the bullshit that's going on in what's it called, Denver.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Where they just quit on everyone, and a week before the playoffs decide to start over again. Spoke to Spolstra about that this morning.
So apparently you tell the people in the front office and coaching that you want to cut corners, that you're going to go on the cheap, and yet now you're firing them for that? For
losing Contavious Caldwell-Pope, for losing Bruce Brown. We know how valuable a player he is from his days down here. You lose players like that, and then you wonder why you don't have cohesion and chemistry of scoring or the defense you want. Absolutely. So, Big O, what I'm saying is, I think no matter how this ends in this week or next week for the Miami Heat, they have a lot going for them. And I think players being smart enough realize Jimmy Butler laid a giant turd in the middle of the locker room and just walked away. And they know, if you're asking me, when you're looking at the bottom of the East, you're looking at the Bulls, and you're looking at the Hawks, and you're looking at the Magic, I'll take the Heat's future because you have real, genuine building blocks there. You have a Barkov-like building block in a player like Bam. You have an Ekblad-like building block in a player like Tyler Hero. You have a game-saving Bobrovsky-like building block in Khalil Ware. Not to that Stanley Cup championship level, but you have the pieces there. If I was a free agent, if I was a player, Durant, looking to force a trade, yeah, I would look at Miami. I would not look at the record at the end of the season and say, oh my God, 38-44. I'd look at it at the record as saying, just sort of like the stock market these days, it's going to bounce back. It's going to be Bitcoin. It is the gold standard, and then go from there.
So who's more dysfunctional, Dallas or Denver?
I think Dallas for this reason, and I don't mean this it's to hurt any feelings. Coaches can be replaced. General managers can be replaced. Franchise players cannot be replaced. A franchise player in a sport where only 5 play at a time in the NBA is even more important, I would say, than a quarterback in the NFL. Because
generational player, not
just because even in the NFL, how many great quarterbacks have we seen whose teams have struggled because the defense was terrible, because they didn't have a running game, because they didn't have a coach?
Yeah.
You give me one great NBA player, you give me Luka Doncic, I will find a way. I will build around that. That's what this league is all about. So I'd say Dallas 1,000 times over. Denver will find a coach. Denver will find a GM. Denver will keep Nikola Jokic and we'll go from there and we'll be fine. Believe me, if you're asking me which would be worse, if Denver fired the coach of the GM or lost Nikola Jokic, it's not a question at all. Doncic, Jokic, those kind of players, you do whatever it takes to keep them. They obviously felt they had to do that now after letting all of his supporting pieces go over the years.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, wow.
That was crazy stuff, yeah.
That just made no sense whatsoever what they did in Denver. But, wow, that's some dysfunction at its best. You have them winning tonight? Vegas has got Miami favored by 1.5.
I do, because I think in the moment, Spoelstra, Hero, Bam, I think they rise to it. Andrew Wiggins will be coming back. He's listed as questionable now, but Eric Spoelstra said he will be playing tonight. Again, this team with Andrew Wiggins playing, now I don't know how healthy he'll be, but at the top of his game is a better team, is a winning team, doesn't have this losing record. The problem is 2 months without Jimmy Butler, now half the time without Andrew Wiggins. You get this together, this team will be in good shape.
That's what I'm saying, man. If you can just finish this strong and just get out of the play
create optimism, you're absolutely right.
We're going to go into the offseason feeling way better about the Miami Heat.
Would agree with that.
You know what I mean? So it starts with tonight. You got to get it done. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. And subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel and catch him doing his thing here every week with our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. We'll catch up next week. And
be back to you next week with our annual Acura of Pembroke Pines play-in report. We're ready for that, the big preview. Thanks, Big O.
Thank you, Ira. You got it. There we go. Our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
You know, Ray, it's an interesting point you make that we have a championship window in the windows in the NFL. Basically, Inter is getting closer to their final championship window? Yes and no. Okay. Why do I say that? I just told you that they've got the rights to one of the elite players in the Premiership right now. So they have aggressive owners that are going to spend money. And on the football pitch, if you're willing to go buy a star or two, which they're going to be willing to buy 3 of them, and you can draft and develop and find the other guys, which they can, I don't think this ends with Messi. The Messi era will end, but I think another star comes and takes over because we have that ownership. We don't have the ownership group that gets one person and then, they got lucky and then they drafted the person, they ended up with them and then the person leaves and, you never see them again. That's not our franchise. So the Moss brothers are going to spend, dude. They're dysfunctional in their own way, how they run that organization. You know what I'm saying? Because you can see how many general managers and head coaches they've already had in such a short time. They've had all kinds of screw ups, but when it comes to players, there's no cheapness there, dude. The Moss brothers don't cut corners when they're players. They cut corners everywhere else because we know about that. But on the player side, they don't cut corners. I got to give them props there. So those crazy dudes will spend and will give you a winner again. They're about winning. They're not about losing. So the Messi era could end, and hopefully it ends with a championship or two, or it could end with nothing. But somebody else's era will start. That's the good thing because we have the Moss brothers, and those guys are going to spend. They're going to win. So we're lucky there. We're lucky. And I can tell you that in hockey, we're going to continue to have a winner also because we have Vinny Viola and we have one of the best GMs in the business. So I think eventually he'll continue to, keep this thing going. When you have great ownership and great leadership, you're going to be in the game all the time. And those are people that want to spend. The Heat, they're kind of stuck where they either need to trade for somebody or somehow get lucky in the middle to late rounds because for them to be in the top pick of the draft, that's going to be hard. They never do that shit. It's rare. And the only time we did it, we screwed it up. We didn't even get the right guy, unfortunately, because we ended up with number 2, not number 1. So what are you going to do? But it's a little harder for the Heat, but they'll do it. But it's harder also now with the aprons that make it so much harder for you to get better and you get penalized and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of rough. Let's finish up on the music side. Okay? Because we we were doing the music and then we got Ira. And so we ended up stopping. So we've got the birthdays. Now let's go with music history. Let's find out what happened today in music history. It's a little slow when you try to pull it up here. And here we go. On April 9th, in 1965, on this date, the Rolling Stones made their live debut on UK show Ready, Steady, Go. In 73, Queen made their debut performance at London's Marquee Theatre. In 1970, Paul McCartney announced his break with the Beatles in a typed statement he included with copies of the solo album the singer sent to the British press. In the letter, he attributed the split to personal differences, musical differences, business differences, but most of all because he wanted to spend more time with his family. In 1984, REM released their second album, Reckoning. Great album. In 94, Pantera's Far Beyond Driven was number 1 album in America. And that's what happened today in music history. Don't forget, folks, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Also on Venmo, you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, or Chainlink donation. How about that? How about that? Nobody's made any chain link or Solana donations. Those are new, but I'm a chain link and Solana guy. So if you want to make a donation there, you can make a donation there. And we always appreciate that. For those of you out of town, I know it's hard to use Cash App or PayPal. Cash App or Venmo. So you can use PayPal. For those of you overseas and you want to support the show, of course, support our amazing sponsors like Hialeah Racetrack, that we will be there tomorrow, broadcasting live, having some fun. Looking forward to it. All right. And there we go. All right. What else? Do I have anything else I want to talk about? By the way, you saw that Octavio Dotel story with all the people. It's like 116 people died in that Dominican Republic bar with the roof caved in. Jesus. They found the singer that was there. They found him because he was singing. He was in the rubble, so he started singing so they can follow him, so they can find him. And they found him. But and then some other famous guy passed away there too. That's from the Dominican Republic that people know. I remember Octavio Dotel myself. Hell, I remember having him on my fantasy baseball teams, winning, getting some saves for me and stuff. He was a good pitcher. Damn, dude. Every day is precious, ladies and gentlemen. Every day, it's a blessing. All right, we're out of here. We, first of all, thank Herbie Lopez and all the great people out here at Toyota of Hollywood for making it nice and easy for us. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley. We appreciate him. We thank Michelle Kaufman. We thank Ira Winderman. If you missed any of those, you can find it there. You can rewind all of that good stuff. He'll post it like any of the rants and all that good stuff here on YouTube. And, of course, you can listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify and all that good stuff. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button before you go, please. You can get us easily over 100 because most of you probably hadn't hit it yet. And, of course, make a donation, Cash App, Venmo, and you can help us go to Spain. We are trying to go to Spain to cover the Dolphins versus, we think it's the Bengals. That's kind of the rumor that got out from the mayor there in Madrid. He kind of let the cat out of the bag. There was Dolphins and Bengals November 16, but the NFL has not mentioned it yet officially. There's a QR code that you can use to make a donation, whatever donation you can make. Greatly appreciated to get us to Spain. We appreciate that as always. We will see you tomorrow afternoon at 3:00 live from that place, Hialeah Park and Casino. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.